Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Father. My power went out, so I apologize and thank you for being here. I'm getting everything set up again. This very well could happen again because it happened earlier, so I apologize. Okay, so I am hoping you can see my screen. Can someone just type in the chat if you can see my screen? Make sure okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so I left off saying high yield savings account, bankrate.com. Bankrate.com is a great resource to check out the rates for the online savings accounts across the nation. Now, online savings accounts in particular, they don't have to be, oh wait, is my video on? No. You don't necessarily have to have a brick and mortar bank to operate an online savings account. And I was going to take a little field trip and show you bankrate.com so you'll know what it looks like when you get there. You can see it, check it out. I'll take you there. Let me pull it up. All right, so this is bankrate.com. When you get there, you're going to see savings account rates. Let's click on that. Well, actually, let's go to banking. And under banking, you'll see best high yield savings accounts. Now, this is an article written by people who work here, so it is biased. And they do tell you that these companies pay them, so make sure you understand. Offers featured here have been sponsored by our partners, which impacts how, where, and in what order the products appear. So just because it's the first one, don't mean it's the best one. SoFi just paid to be there, okay? So those are the sponsored ones, and then you start to see, oh, 5.10. 5.15, that's probably one of the highest I've seen with a zero minimum balance too. FDIC insured, this has all the characteristics of a good high yield savings that you're like, okay, but have you ever heard of EveryBank? I haven't, but do your research. But as long as it has the components that we're looking for, FDIC insured, no minimum balance, no fees, it could be a good fit for you. So that's what you want to look for. Now, you may see some of these banks and look, good old Chase, 0.01, good old B of A, 0.01, and they have the nerve to have a minimum. So again, these are the traditional savings accounts. We want to focus on the high yield, okay? So they have some more down here where they give more of a detailed explanation of why they chose it, why they like it, all of that. So bankrate.com is a good resource for choosing high yield savings accounts. You gotta have a high yield savings account. This is where the money that is just sitting there, this is where that money should be. Okay. Now, 401k, 403b, 457b, and TSP. TSP is Thrift Savings Plan. That's where a lot of federal government workers have their retirement. These are all retirement related accounts. So now we're moving to that third type of savings, right? Retirement savings, particularly pre-tax savings. All of these accounts are pre-tax savings accounts. So you can open them through your employer if your employer offers it. Every employer doesn't. This is funded with pre-tax dollars, so you earn your paycheck. Money is deducted right then and there before taxes. That's why it's pre-tax. Then that goes into the retirement account, but you have to be sure that you invest that money. Otherwise, it's just sitting in cash. I literally have a new client out of Virginia. Been working for her company for about 15 years now. She shared with me all the accounts she has, but she's like, they've been the same for a very long time. And the first thing that came to my mind was, oh Lord, has she actually invested the money or is it just sitting in cash? You don't want that. You've got to invest the retirement money, and your plan typically has mutual funds, index funds, or target funds that you can invest the money in. Again, if we work one-on-one, I educate you on all of what that means and what could be best for you, but please make sure the money is not sitting in cash. That's kind of half the battle. All right. Now, unfortunate part about employer-sponsored plans, there's rules. there are rules around retirement plans. So you can't take it out before 59 and a half, or you'll be hit with a penalty. For a lot of people, that's okay because they're like, I'm going to retire after 59 and a half. Cool. But for other people, if an emergency comes up, they go to their retirement plan, which is why we have a When I Need It, I Got It fund, because it should take care of emergencies so you don't have to liquidate your retirement. Everything in divine order. Now this is really making sense, right? Everything has a place for every situation that could possibly come up. This is supposed to be for my future, for my retirement, whatever that might look like, because retirement means something different to everybody. But this is the money for that season of life. So for some people, not touching it to 59 and a half or later, not a thing. But if you did touch it before 59 and a half, you're going to get hit with a 10% penalty on top of having to pay taxes right then and there upon the withdrawal. That can significantly decrease the amount that you have saved. Now, for 2024, again, the law changes every year around savings for retirement. So this year we could put away $23,000. If you're 50 or over, you can put away $6,500 more than that. So that, or is it 75 now? It's 7,500 more than that. So now you could put away 30,500 if you're over 50. And again, why are they doing that? Because they know that savings is challenging. Most people aren't putting away enough. So they're like, hey, if you're over 50, you really need the savings. So we're going to give you what's called a catch-up contribution. This will help you catch up to where you're trying to be in your retirement savings. So that's only eligible for people who are 50 and over. Okay. So technically in your retirement, you could be maximizing your savings up to 30,000 if you're over 50. If you're under 50, 23,000 for this year. It goes up every year. So in 2025, we could expect it to probably be 23,500. Okay, so this is employer-sponsored retirement money, that third type of savings on the pre-tax side. All right, let's keep it going. SEP IRA. Now, this is in our world, the entrepreneur, the self-employed person, or the small business owner. So if you're self-employed, small business owner, or an entrepreneur, you're like, well, how do I save? Right. That's what I was asking myself. I don't have an employer-sponsored retirement plan. So what can I use to help myself save for retirement? A SEP IRA. It simply stands for Simplified Employee Pension and Individual Retirement Account. Now, it operates like a pension, I'll tell you why, but it's actually a defined contribution plan. Y'all don't need to know all of that, but as a financial planner, that's what I had to study. I recently passed my test, so it's all fresh too. So again, self-employed people like myself, we want to save. Our business has money that comes in. The business sets up the SEP IRA. Now, I'm a one-woman show, so I am my business. So the business sets up the SEP IRA. However, Dominique, the employee of the business, cannot contribute to a SEP IRA. In that way, it works like an old school pension. Only Reese Financial Services can contribute to the SEP IRA. Now, this is great because now my business gets to write off the contribution. So your business sets up the SEP IRA. Whatever it contributes for the year can become a write-off to the business money, which means that's less that you're going to pay in taxes. So me, as the employee of my business, I don't get to contribute to the SEP IRA. Only the employer can contribute, okay? Now, you can contribute 25 up to the lesser of 25% of compensation. So let's say if I pay myself 100,000, as the employer would only be able to contribute 25,000 or 66,000, whichever is less. 25,000 is less, so it would contribute 25,000 for the year. That's the maximum. So that's how that works. But this is a great way for us to put money away and it helps our business. Okay. The other reason why SEPs are attractive, because there are others. The simple is the next one, and then that's really basically it for small business owners. They have new things, the solo 401k. These are things that are coming out, but these are kind of the traditional go-to tried and true SEP IRA. They're also very low costs to set up, if any cost at all. Like to this day, I haven't had a cost associated with setting up my SEP IRA. Some do though. Other types of retirement plans for small business owners might have some setup costs, might have some ongoing fees, and there's no annual filing requirement. So when other accounts, you might have to file every year with the IRS. SEP IRA, you don't have to do that. So it's easy, it's low cost. As an employer, you don't have to contribute, because what if it's a down year? You're like, I ain't got it. Well, you don't have to. Other accounts, you have to. So it really is about fit at this point. When you're an entrepreneur or self-employed person, you want an option that's going to work for your business and your needs. Roth IRA. Anyone can open this account. Again, within limits of your income. If it's more than 153,000 that you're making, you tap out. You can't contribute. And it also depends on your tax filing status. Single, head of household, married, filing jointly. That's when the income restrictions come into play. Now, Roth IRA, retirement account. Retirement designated accounts follow retirement rules. 59 and a half, taxes, penalties. All of that applies, just a little different with the Roth IRA, because now we're talking after tax dollars. So you get paid through your job, taxes are taken out, healthcare taken out, those are all pre-tax deductions, and then retirement taken out. You get paid, that money hits your checking account. Then you decide, okay, I'm gonna take 10% and put it in my when I need it, I got it. Then I'm gonna take another 10% and put it in my Roth. So that's an example of after-tax dollars being put to use for retirement purposes. Okay. So again, retirement is the third types of savings, and we save for retirement in two ways: pre-tax, post-tax. So this is the post-tax strategy. My money's already been taxed. Now let me take a little portion of it and put it towards my retirement. Now, again, because it's after-tax dollars, technically, you won't get hit with the penalty to take out this money. However, it's a retirement account. Retirement accounts follow retirement rules. One of the rules for a Roth IRA is if you make any withdrawals within the first 5 years, you could be hit with the penalty as well as a tax. Now, that money will come out based on the contribution you put in. Again, my money's already been taxed, so I shouldn't have to pay taxes. But it's a retirement account. So if you dip in it before the 5-year period, they go tax you. Ain't that something? So a lot of people are like, listen, it's my money. I don't want to be taxed. How can I save for retirement with after-tax dollars so it's not taxed again? Well, I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. You can contribute this year. Again, 2024 ushers in new laws for how much we can save. This year we could save $7,000, but if you're 50 or older, you get an extra $1,000. So you could save up to $8,000. Okay. So this is how we're maximizing every one of these accounts that I'm talking to you about, particularly these last three: the 401k, 403b, 457b, TSPs, retirement. Max them out. That is the goal. The goal is to max them out. And the bonus or perk is if your employer offers a match, then you want to max it out so you can get the match. Free money on the table. Now, of course, everybody's situation is different. This is where the coaching and the planning comes in, because we take a look at, well, what are your options? What's available to you? What's the opportunity here? Let's see if your budget can afford it. And we work the budget to afford it. How much of this can we get? Let's milk this plan, get as much of this money under our belt as possible. making sure all our bills are paid. But on that pre-tax side, this is going to lower our taxes. And now we're maximizing the amount that we've got put away for the future. Same here. We want to maximize this. So if you're owning your own business or you're self-employed and you know you could put 5,000 in, try to max out the 5,000 for that year. Roth IRA, this year we could max out up to 7,000. If you're over 50, it's 8,000. What would it look like for your budget to be able to afford that? That is the goal, to max out these accounts in particular. So an investment account becomes the sixth type of account that we want to max out. Now, this account ain't got no restrictions on it. You do what you want with this account. Anybody could open it. It don't matter your income level. Ain't no penalties. Ain't nothing going on here except capital gains taxes. What is a capital gain tax? A capital gain tax is simply where you use this account to buy stocks. You buy a stock at $10, it goes up to $20. You sell at $20. You made $10 per share of that stock. You are now going to be hit with taxes for that $10 that you made at the capital gains tax rate. So that's what a capital gain is. You gained $10 because you went from 10 to 20. You sold at 20. So now Uncle Sam is coming to say, okay, you made $10 off of this stock per share. So if you own 10 shares, now that's $1,000, right? I'm sorry, $100 profit. So we want our share of the taxes on that $100 that you made off of those 10 shares, and you made $10 per share. So capital gains tax rate would be applied to that $100, and now you pay taxes. But when we open an investment account, y'all, this is for the long haul for the most part, unless you're trading, which is a real thing. Unless you're trading in your account, you're not going to be taking any capital gains taxes until later on, or under proper counsel and advice if you want to bank some dollars, right? So if something does go from 10 to 20 and you own a lot of it, you're like, well, let me cash that in. I don't want it to go back down, especially if you foresee it going back down. Let's go ahead and bank those winnings, and then we can reinvest some of the profit. But at that time, once you sell, that is when you pay taxes in an investment account. So you go to Fidelity, you go to Schwab, you go to Morgan Stanley, you go to TD Ameritrade, you go to E-Trade, your Robinhood, your Betterment, any of these platforms where you can open an investment account, a traditional brokerage account. This is where you put as much as you want in, and you are responsible for the money that's being saved and invested in this account. Now, at a certain asset level, you may be eligible for an advisor at that firm if they offer it, but that's going to be an additional fee. Okay. So some people say, well, listen, I want to save for retirement in an account that ain't got no rules attached to it. I want to take the money out when I want, and I don't want to be hit with no rules or nothing. That's when some people use a traditional investment account, and they just know the money that I put here is for my retirement. Again, I'm going to take it out in the future. So as I start taking that money out, that's when I'll be hit with the taxes for that. Okay. So you can use your after-tax dollars for this. Again, you get paid, money hits your account. Some of it goes to your when I need it, I got it. Some of it goes to your retirement, like a Roth for after tax. And then you might say, I'm also going to put some away for investing. And it doesn't have to be for retirement. This could just be the other money that's making money for you, especially if you're not investing outside of your retirement. You've got to be investing outside of your retirement, because you have more options. Retirement accounts are very limited. Why? Because it's a paternalistic system. They know most Americans don't know how to invest. So we're not going to give them every option to invest the money that's supposed to be for their future. We go give them a few options. We're going to make them funds, mutual funds. You cannot invest in individual stocks in your retirement accounts at your employer. So if you want to invest in Target, you want to invest in Walmart, You want to invest in Johnson and Johnson, Samsung, Apple, any of the household brands that you support already and go spend money on, you've got to open an investment account at an investment firm. So this is where the world truly becomes your oyster in investing. So this is another way to maximize our savings. And again, in the 5 types of savings, this is the 4th type. Okay. So at this point, you've basically got the 5 types of savings plus the types of accounts that go with those savings types. Lastly is the health savings account. Now, this one, everybody has the opportunity, but everybody's not eligible. In order to open a high yield savings account, you have to enroll in a high deductible health plan. So let's say you got a job, your employer offers you health care. You know, you have PPO and HMO. Okay, well, the high deductible health plans are usually PPOs and they usually cost more. All that means is you've got to hit a higher out of pocket cost before the insurance kicks in. Okay. And if you enroll in that kind of a healthcare plan, then you can also open a health savings account. When and if you open a health savings account, this account is off the chain, y'all. Let me tell you. Triple tax savings is what it's known as because you use pre-tax dollars to fund it. You could also use after-tax dollars to fund it, but most people are using pre-tax dollars to fund it. So that's going to like lower your tax liability. It's for health-related expenses. So, and the laws have been changing about what's considered a health-related expense. So it's really important that if you open one, you check with your provider to find out exactly what you can use this money for. Because if you're going to CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens to buy anything health-related, some of those things that you're buying could very well be eligible for your health savings account money. So it's pre-tax money, it's for health-related expenses, and it's tax-free. Now, let's say you hit 65 years old. At 65 years old, you can spend this money however you would like. You would only pay state and federal taxes on it. There's no penalty though. Now, at 65 years old, you also are going to have healthcare costs. So you can use this money in retirement. You can use this money for your healthcare costs in retirement. I looked up and realized I had an HSA account and claimed the money right before the end of the year. That's right. That's right, Elizabeth. Listen, think about what you might need to use it for. Again, this is where you want to go back to what qualifies as a health-related expense if you do have this account. But again, if you wait till you're 65 and you got mad money stacked here, because you're going to invest this money too. That's the other thing. This money can be invested. It's not just sitting in cash. So now it's functioning almost like a Roth, but even better because it's truly all tax-free. The only thing is though, at 65, you don't get hit with no penalties if you do spend it on non-health related expenses. Now, if you do that before 65, you're going to get hit with paying taxes on it, but then they also have like a penalty tax of an additional 20%. So that's to deter people from abusing the account because it's a triple tax-free account. Pre-tax dollars, earnings grow tax-free, and then you can withdraw and use the money tax-free for any health-related expenses that are qualified expenses. So this is another way to maximize savings. You could put away $4,150 if you're an individual. If you have a family, you could put up to $8,300 every year. And again, this changes as the laws change every year. But this year, that's what you could put away. So imagine if you did that, if you're working a job or even if you're in, all you got to do is be enrolled in a high deductible health plan. Now, I'm not saying go enroll in a high deductible health plan in order to do this because the high deductible health plan is a thing in itself. That basically means you're going to be covering the cost of any healthcare stuff that comes up until you hit that deductible, and the deductible is high. So that's the catch with this account. Must have a high deductible health plan that you're already enrolled in. Could be through your employer. If you don't have an employer, you can enroll in one outside of that if you're taking on your own health costs. Okay, so health savings account, but it can really, really boost your savings, especially in retirement when we already know as older people, we're going to have healthcare expenses in retirement. So this can be good at a certain point in our seasons to say maybe I should look into a health savings account now. So everything in divine order. But obviously the catch there is the sooner you open it, the longer your money could be making for you, right? The longer the money has to compound and to grow. So that's why it's gotta be custom to you and your situation. Can't just open this to be like, okay, I got it, check. Because it might not make sense. Your budget might not be able to afford the high deductible health plan. That's the first requirement. So if you can't afford that, then you won't be able to enroll in this until that makes sense for you. Okay, let's keep it pushing. We are at time. So let's recap. You just learned the 7 ways to save your hard-earned cash. Have I been sharing the screen? Okay, I'm like, have I been sharing the screen with y'all? I have not been sharing the screen with y'all. I'm so sorry. Y'all just looking at me and I'm like, oh my gosh. So all that time I was talking about the investment account and the health savings account. Let me put it back there just in case so you can read through it. I know, Elizabeth, that, it just really threw me off to have to come back and pick up. So thank you. Thank you. Have grace with me today. Okay, so that's some health savings account stuff. And this will be in a replay. And I also will send out the slides so you can have that visual. So traditional savings account, high yield savings account, 401k, 403b, 457b, TSP, retirement accounts offered through your employer, SEP IRA for those of us who are entrepreneurs, self-employed, or own a small business, Roth IRA, investment account, and health savings account. Those are the 7 ways to save your hard-earned cash. And in covering those, we also covered how to save pre-tax and post-tax dollars, which accounts we could use for what, and then how to save if you're an entrepreneur, self-employed, or small business owner. So I have achieved my objectives today. Now you need to explore what is going to be best for you. Right. And again, I'll send this out so you'll have these 7 types of accounts, and knowing your situation, you could start to say, okay, which of these makes sense for me right now that I can take action on right now. But let's just say you're not sure about what might be best. Then you should work with me. Let me help you sift through what could be best for you. Savings is a key core area of your financial foundation. So again, what does the financial foundation include? Well, there are 8 core areas of your financial foundation. There's your mindset, your goals, your budget, your savings, your debt, your credit, your income, your protection. Those are the 8 core areas. So as you see, savings is the 4th core area. So because everything in divine order, right? So I want this to make sense. There's 8 core areas, savings is 1. Still got 7 other areas, y'all. And we don't want to do no planning in a silo. Everything impacts everything. So today we covered 1 core area, which was savings, and how do we maximize it? So in helping you, I'm going to help you assess each of the core areas, understand where you are in that area. Then we're going to set goals in that area because this is based on where you want to be. So if you're not currently saving, you want to start saving. That's the goal. Okay, let's build strategy on how to get there. And that's what we do. That's how we work together over the course of a year. Okay. Yes, definitely will, Ronald. Thank you for that question. So then which of these areas, right? And again, 8 core areas. Mindset, goals, budget, savings, debt, credit, income protection. Which of these areas would you like to focus on to make your financial foundation more solid? And you could just type the number that corresponds to that area, and more than one if it applies to you. Like, I could tell you right now, I'm always working on my mindset, so that's something I always work on. We'll always work on our mindset until we die, because money management is a lifelong process. But right now for me, I'm on 7. I want to get my income up. So I have several streams throughout my business, and I'm like, all right, how do I get my income up this year? So I'm focused on 7 in particular, 4 for sure, and then getting my debt in order, decreasing my debt so my credit could get in order because I'm going to be moving. Elizabeth says debt, income, and savings. Yes, most of the clients I'm working with are focused on those 3 things. Throw in spending, but spending is involved in all of them. So Whitney says 1 through 7. I hear that. Yes. And protection is just about protecting the assets, all the insurances, as well as estate planning. A lot of times we don't think we have enough money to be estate planning, but we do. If we die today, people got to make decisions about stuff. So you want to make sure that you've made those decisions so they don't have to be burdened with those decisions. So we all have estate planning needs that falls in the protection area. So that's something we always working on as well. So this is good. Now, Ronald, you have a question. Yes. Can I give any quick advice on the challenge of separating savings? Really, it goes back to number 2, goal setting, because of the 5 types of savings, if everything is in one pot, then you're like, okay, everything is in one pot. I'm just go pull from this pot whenever anything comes up. Right. But how do you know if you have enough for particular goals based on what you're trying to do? Now, this is where I also kind of zoom out, because with money, nothing is ever just on the surface. You kind of got to go deep. So to answer that question, the question becomes, well, why are you saving? And most people, well, because I need to save that. No, like the question I asked at the beginning, why is this important to you? What difference does it make for you to save? Right? Well, I'm trying to retire at a certain age, or I'm trying to leave a legacy, or I'm trying to buy a rental property, or I'm trying to start a business, or I'm trying to make sure that I have all of the money I need for retirement. I'm trying to buy a classic car. So the goal is now going to be the anchor for why we need to even set up the savings. So now if I'm saving for this, that should be separate from my emergency savings. So now we have a reason to separate it. So again, going back to the challenge is in not having the goal specific types of savings to where you could be like, okay, I'm going to travel this year, 5,000. Okay, my emergency fund needs to be 10,000. So right there, that's 15,000. Let's say you got 12,000, everything just sitting in one account. I mean, cool, but we would want the 5,000 to be in a high yield savings working for us, making money, while the 7,000 could be in the traditional bank account. So even right then and there, there's an opportunity for some of that money to be working for us. So the challenge becomes setting goals for our life. People think goal setting is just a waste of time. It's not. It anchors us in what it is that we're doing. Why we even care to manage our money anyway? What kind of lifestyle are we building? How do you see yourself living your life this year? Okay, I want to go on vacation. Okay, that's a goal. Now we got a goal that we need to save for, which means we need to budget to be able to save for that. We probably should pay down some debt to have more savings for that. And if we're going to use a credit card, let's work on our credit. Everything is pulled into that one goal. So it's purposeful, it's intentional. Now we ain't budgeting just the budget. So that's the long way of answering that, right? Is there any platform or company that provides most of these services in one place? Having all these different accounts in different places seems kind of gives me anxiety. Too many logins, might forget. Absolutely. Any recommendations to make it easier to monitor? This is a great question. This is why I say we set up a system with our finances, just like every and anything else. It is a lot, but that's why it's called money management. There's just simply no way around it. So, in my effort to practice excellence, this is where I get to practice excellence. So, how am I going to organize my financial life? Now, technically, any bank that you have a relationship with probably has, of the 5 types of savings, all 5 accounts that you could open with them. The only thing becomes, are they the best option for that type of an account? You could have a Roth IRA with B of A, but would you prefer to have it at an investment club or investment firm? So this is where your choices and your options come into play. It is a lot to manage if you think it's a lot to manage. So now we go back to mindset, because the more we do this, the more you manage your money every month, you won't forget those logins. Why? Because you're logging in every month. There's a regularity and a consistency with what you're doing. You're building yourself as a better money manager. You're building yourself as a better steward of the resources. So just like anything, it becomes second nature. And at that point, you have a system that you're managing. And with the regularity and the consistency, you don't have to do too much, because you might have a system, set up some automation, set up this transfer, set up that to this account. And then all you have to do is come in as the manager of the system and make sure the system is working as it should. So I understand that mindset. And it's a mindset we have to shift from, because just like anything, and you know what? God is so good. Everything in divine order. Hebrews 12:11 comes to mind. If you're a believer, look up that verse. It talks all about discipline, and like how in the beginning it's a lot, but in the end there's a reward. There's a peaceful harvest. That's the cost of being a good manager. In a lot, in the beginning, it's a lot. It might be a little bit much, but guess what? With discipline, with effort, with consistency, it gets easier, it gets better, and then you're on your way. Now you have the system to manage. So I wouldn't say there's one particular platform or service that offers all of this. It could be good if it did. Maybe that's something I could do in a startup. Thank you, Father, for planting that seed. But right now, it's just going to be, and you probably already have some of this, just taking an inventory of all of the accounts. But if not, no, there's no easy way around it. And again, remember, if you want the retirement accounts, they have to be retirement accounts. So some are with your employer. And then if you get the pre-tax, or I'm sorry, the post-tax accounts like a Roth or a traditional IRA or a SEP IRA, those are just separate. So just by the nature of what they are, they're going to be more accounts that you have to manage. So no easy way to do it in the beginning, but over time, it gets way easier. And then if you're working with someone, now you've got framework, you've got system to help with that. Okay. Keep the questions coming. Of course, I would love for you to take action on what I have shared with you today. So if you are interested in a conversation where we could talk about how all of this applies to what you've got going on, I'm going to drop in the link, and then it's also on the screen, but I'm going to drop in the link or in the chat, the link for you to schedule some time with me. Conversations go a long way. And whether it's working with me or someone else, I don't want you doing this alone this year. You don't have to. You don't have to do this alone, right? And as a coach, you may need the coach before you get to the advisor, right? You work with the coach to help you get the foundation solid, build the assets on that foundation, and then grow the assets. That's my approach. That's my process. Let's make sure your foundation is solid. Then we could build assets on that solid foundation. Then we can grow those assets. So a three-phase journey when you're working with me and Reese Financial Services. So I put that in the chat. Feel free to click that link and schedule some time so you can start to take action and know exactly what's best for you and your situation, because everybody's situation is different. All right, so let me shut up and take some questions. Anything else that you that might be coming up for you? I really thank you, and especially for sticking this out with me during my power outage. How can I answer anything that might be coming up for you? Any questions, comments, thoughts, or feelings that might be coming up for you? Would love to hear from you right now. And if nothing else, how was this for you? I love the fact that you include God's word in your teaching. Thank you, Ronald. He is my power source, literally. The knowledge you are sharing is a blessing. Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure to have joined your training. I appreciate you. I really, really appreciate that feedback. Money is a test. It's a test of our heart. It's how God chooses those who are ready for the assignments. So y'all, let me tell you, just because I'm a financial professional don't mean I got it all together. And I am learning how this is the test. So he gives us more when we manage what we have. And I just want more people within my community, large and small, far and wide, to do better at managing what we have, right? If you never make any more money than what you're making, let's manage that money to the best that we can so we can get more, because it's a natural law. We will get more. So thank you for that word and for that confirmation. I really appreciate that. Whitney will be contacting me. Thank you, Father. Thank you. I am looking forward to it. Please take action. Schedule that now. Get it on the calendar. My calendar is open, I think, until early March. So you should see some dates in there that work for you. Elizabeth, thankful. Thank you. You have made me feel more empowered. I will definitely reach out. Please do. I will be waiting. I am honored to create space in my calendar for you all. And Priscilla says, thanks for all the good information. You are welcome. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for letting me go over by a few minutes, and I appreciate you. I will be in touch with you with the replay as well as the slides. Have a great rest of your day and a strong start to the week, because the week starts today, y'all. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Peace.